I'm Susan Paterson from Business Insurance Group.
Okay, whereabouts are you based, Susan?
We're based in Loganholme, but we've also got offices in Virginia and in Lismore.
Okay, Queensland business.
Queensland, Northern New South Wales.
Susan or Susie, what do you prefer?
Susie.
Susie, okay. Susie, if we can operate on that basis, how long have you been in the financial services industry?
In insurance since 2004, so previously I was in banking, so probably 25 years all up, but specialising in insurance since 2004.
Okay, and how did that come about?
In 2000 I lost both my mother and my brother to cancer, and then I actually took some time off work. It took me a while to recover from the grief, and then I didn't want to go back into banking, and it was trying to find what do I want to do going forward, and I sort of dawned on me one day I had an opportunity to start a career in insurance, and I thought it would be really wonderful to be able to do something to protect people like my mother and brother, and if they had had trauma insurance, it would have been a far easier outcome for them. And I think on the positive side, because of the reasons that I entered the industry, it's given me a lot of empathy and a really strong belief and passion for what I do.
Well, I was going to say that's a pretty powerful and passionate response, and so I guess you're invested in many different ways in terms of helping people protect themselves in the
Exactly,
future.
and sort of understanding the effects that if something happens that has on all the people that are left, behind, the effect for them, and try and protect that as well.
Okay, so tell us a bit about Business Insurance Group in Loganholme and elsewhere.
Okay, so Business Insurance Group, we're in business insurance specialists. So we have a general insurance brokerage side, and then we also look at the life risk and superannuation needs of businesses and the people that work inside those businesses.
How many people are you responsible for in your business? How many people do you employ?
So we have 16 staff, but really 13 FTE. We actually have quite a few mums that work with us in almost sort of job share scenarios. So it gives them a good opportunity to be able to have their family life and their career as well.
Okay, so the business continues to grow and evolve, Susie?
Yes, it had a couple of tougher years because we were highly exposed to corporate superannuation. But I certainly feel that we've put in a strategy to buffer ourselves against the effect of losing revenue from that type of business. And the business is now back in growth mode, which is good.
So like most small businesses, you had your setbacks, but it's made you a better business overall?
It has. We're far stronger. I think our processes, our systems, the way that our client engagement has been far better since we've restructured the business. So I think as a whole, it looks much better commercially, but more importantly, it looks much better for our clients now.
So I guess it's a Dorothy Dixby, you really believe you make a difference for your clients?
I do, every day. I mean, we actually do more, we average about 30 general insurance claims at any one time, which would be for houses, cars, businesses. We average 37 life, income protection and trauma claims. So unbelievably, we do more on that side in claims than we do on the general side.
Okay, so we're in the conference. What did you get up to before you entered the financial services sector?
As I said, banking, so very much
Before banking?
Straight from school into banking.
Okay, was that your dream?
It's funny, my dream, I really wanted to do something to do with economics and public relations, and in a way banking brings the two together, and so does insurance.
Okay, Susie, serious question for you. How many of your friends going up through school wanted to do something in economics and public relations?
I think just me.
So why do you think you felt like that?
Just always really enjoyed economics, and I remember watching people speak, when you have different people come out and speak to you at school, or if you went to things external to school, but you saw somebody up on a stage with a real presence, and I always really admired that, and I thought PR would be a great role.
So when did you get your first job, and what was your first job?
My first job, I didn't actually work until I left school, and my first job was with what was then Metropolitan Permanent, that became Metway, that became Suncorp.
Very good indeed. Okay, and what did you do with your first paycheck? Can you remember?
Bought an outfit. Went and bought clothes.
What was it?
It was a new outfit to wear to work. So,
excellent,
yes,
very good.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
So did you move out and rent, or were you living at home?
Yeah, so I moved out of home when I was 18, so fairly young I suppose when you look back now, but and I've always fairly much lived away from home from then.
Taught you a few lessons as a teenager living on your own, or living away from home?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I actually bought my first house when I was 21, so I was always quite independent and quite driven to keep moving forward with independence.
Just confirming you bought your first house at age 21
Yep.
off your own earnings?
Yep.
Debt generated from your income, your first job?
And then I used to work 2 jobs so that I could try and pay more off the loan. So
That's fantastic. Great lesson. Does any of that help you in the way you now advise your clients in business insurance group?
I think it's really important for everyone to try and strive for financial independence, and I think that's probably the underlying need that most people have. So it's one of those things that I'm always very conscious of for them, and also making sure that they're not putting themselves in a position that they actually can't afford, whether it's their insurance premiums or loan repayments or whatever. You want to make sure that people are comfortable with what they're actually committed to.
Sure. Now, we're aware of your significant involvement these days in the global MDRT organisation. How did that start? What is it about MDRT that really gives you the passion for your involvement?
Well, when I first started in 2004, and I didn't really know that much about insurance, and so not only was I studying and trying to understand, get qualified, but understand the profession as such, it was also the other side of it about how do you actually talk to clients. And so I sought out other advisors that I had seen that were really successful, and I would ask them if I could go along with their appointments and try and learn off them and pick up the different ways people did things. And then you sort of figure, oh, that wouldn't really suit me, but this does. And I noticed that with a lot of these really successful advisors, when I chatted to them, a lot of them were involved in MDRT. So I assumed that if I wanted to be successful, I should really try and start understanding and get involved with MDRT. And then I actually qualified in my first year. In the first year I was in the business, I went to my first MDRT, and I've gone to everyone since then except for one. So absolutely love it.
All right, why did you miss it?
It was Atlanta. It was the year Atlanta was on. It was the year of the Brisbane floods. So we had a lot of general insurance claims for floods. So I felt I had to be here.
Where was your first MDRT?
Anaheim.
What did you think of it?
I loved it. I sometimes think the first one is probably the one that leaves you with the most impact, because you've got no understanding of what to expect as such. And I remember walking in and thinking it was like a rock concert almost. And there's absolutely sensational speakers. I mean, Anaheim was a great setting for it. And I travelled over by myself and just met so many advisors. And in all honesty, I learnt as much off the advisors, the fellow advisors that travelled from Australia, as I actually learnt from all the lessons at MDRT, because you had such great chance to have really good conversations and dial down and ask people how they did things. And every year I think that chatting with the other advisors over there, and you're in that setting where people are very focused on helping each other get the best results.
Sounds pretty collegiate and collaborative.
Yeah, very much so. Very much.
What's the first car you ever bought?
Oh, it's terrible. It was a little Tirana.
Oh yeah, tell me more about it. What colour was it?
It's terrible. It's a terrible colour. Everything about it. This was one of those things where your father and your brother tell you this is what you should do, and you sit there later going, I really didn't want to do that. So I only had that car for about 12 months, and then I went and bought a little Corolla that was very lovely.
You happy with it? What colour was the Corolla?
It was a little green Corolla.
What colour was the Tirana?
It was that terrible brownie horrible colour. Yes, it was terrible.
All right. What are you driving today?
A Mercedes.
A Mercedes?
Yeah.
Okay, you're allowed to. That's okay.
A C300, so it's really lovely.
Put you on the spot again. 3 people over for dinner. Who are they? Why?
Oh, Condoleezza Rice. Maybe Richard Branson, and maybe you, Pete. You could interview them then over dinner.
When can I come?
You can come to dinner with them.
Financial services sector, financial advice. There's so much passion. There's so much change. What do you see is the future for financial advisors that want to deliver value for clients? What do you see as the future for them, say, in 5 years?
Well, I'm quite sure it won't look as it is now, because everything just changes, and we've got no real conception these days of where change will take place and what it's going to look like. I think the only thing in preparedness we can is to have a mentality that we know, well, things are just going to change. But I really think that if we looked at the profession that we are now and looked back 5 years ago, the profession is just so much more professional. I think we look like accountants or solicitors as such, and I think the treatment of our clients, I think we do a whole lot better job than what we did. And I would really assume that as another 5 years goes, that whole giving piece to our clients will just keep improving, that we'll probably do a far better job, we'll probably be far more clever at it, there'll be new things that we can use to give a better outcome. But I'm quite sure those needs of the client, that basic need that they need insurance, is not going to change.
So you think the industry's heading in the advised financial advice industry is heading in the right direction?
I do. I think that there's a space for advice, there's a space for non-advice, and I think it's just making sure that we're putting the client in that what suits them best and making sure that they get the best outcomes. But the better job that we do of that, the better we're going to be and the better our practices will be.
Okay. Other than the person behind the camera, who's the third person you're going to invite to dinner?
Godfrey Phillips.
Godfrey Phillips.
Yes.
Susan Paterson, thank you for your time.
Thank you.